brother. Hopefully you guys can see on screen how nice this looks. This looks awesome right now.
Do you copy? You're already in enemy territory. Somebody might be listening in. From here on out, we'll be using code names to refer to each other. Your code name for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
Well, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
You've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training.
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one at a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom. Oh, and Snake?
Yeah.
The crew isn't watching anymore. You can take off the disguise now.
Good idea. This isn't right. Time for the snake to shed his skin.
Yeah. Shed his skin, There he is. The man, the myth, the legend. He's legendary, bro. This is a legendary character, alright? I'm sorry. This is legendary shit here. Yes. I'm actually gonna go back now and see if that thing spawns. I think there's an item where I was. I could have sworn when I first played this game, that was like a thing.
Can you hear me, Major Tom? This is Snake. Kept you waiting, huh?
This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy. You must leave no trace of your presence. Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment to procure on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Great. Now I see why you asked me if I liked snakes. I suppose calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No. There's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to the subject, how exactly am I supposed to feed myself?
You've been issued a knife and a tranquilizer gun. Use them to hunt for food. You'll also find some medical supplies in your backpack.
Yeah, about the backpack. I lost it in a tree on the way down.
I see. Well, you'd better go back and get it then. You know where it is?
No problem. I can see it from here. It's stuck on a branch.
To climb a tree, stand in front of a tree that's covered in ivy and press the action button. I'll be monitoring your progress over the radio. We can't risk violating Soviet airspace, but I'll be in the gunship. My frequency is 140.85. I'll give you a call if I need to talk to you. If you need to talk to me, use the send function. Okay, Snake, go get your backpack.
Don't want to be falling down there. Let me just check one more time. I'm not going crazy, bro. Maybe I am. There's really nothing there? So I gotta learn the controls. It's kind of crazy because like A or X, oh, it was on this side. Okay. It's like to roll and like crouch and then, okay. So weird. We drop down here. Woo! This is on this side of things. Go ahead and go up the tree here. That's the tree? Yes. Alright, those are my goods. That's my backpack. Backpack. Let's go ahead and grab that. Oh yeah. Oh, we're locked and loaded, baby. It's under the grass.
I see you've retrieved your backpack, Snake. To equip a weapon, it's necessary to take it out of your backpack. In the survival viewer, choose Weapon from the backpack. Your available weapons will be displayed in a window in the upper left. From that list, choose the weapon you want to equip and press the Enter button. For other equipped items, just do the same thing from Item.
Got it. Use the survival viewer backpack.
Yep, that's right. Survival is fundamental to this mission. After you've been out in the field for a while, your stamina will start to drop. If your stamina gets too low, it'll affect your performance. You won't be able to shoot accurately, for example, and your wounds won't heal as smoothly. Keep an eye on your stamina so you don't run out. To recover lost stamina, you can hunt for local flora and fauna. You can use either your tranquilizer gun or your knife to hunt.
My only weapon is a Mark 22 Hush Puppy tranquilizer gun?
That's right. It's been fitted with its own suppressor. However, the suppressor will deteriorate every time you fire. Once its durability reaches 0, the noise suppression effect will be gone. So don't get too trigger happy with it. The suppressor's durability is shown in the icon. Any weapons and equipment beyond what you're carrying now, you'll have to find as you go.
I have to find my own weapons and equipment? Whose crazy idea was this anyway?
Solo covert actions are standard Fox operating procedure. You can't leave any traces of your presence. No weapons, equipment, footprints, sweat, or bodily waste. The same goes for bullets and cartridges, too. Your presence in enemy territory is already a violation of international conventions of warfare. There aren't supposed to be any American soldiers in Russia. It could spark an international incident. You can't let anyone see you. You can't let the enemy know you're there. This is a stealth mission. You're a ghost, Snake, in every sense of the word. There'll be no rescue if you're captured. The military and US government will deny any involvement in the affair.
Then I'll just have to take care of myself, huh?
I'm afraid so. You've been given a fake death pill for that purpose. SAS guidelines stipulate that soldiers on covert ops like this one be issued a potassium cyanide capsule. Tape it to your body so you can take it when you need to.
How generous of you.
Use it if you're taken prisoner by the enemy. It'll send you into a state of false death for a short time.
Fooling them into thinking that I'm really dead. So how do I come back to life?
Just take the revival pill.
You mean that thing they put in my tooth before the mission?
That's the one. But be careful. If you remain in a state of false death for too long, nothing will be able to bring you back. Remember that.
I'll keep it in mind. You said this was a solo mission, right?
Right.
I guess that means I can't count on any reinforcements.
Correct. The mission rests entirely in your hands.
A real one-man army.
Relax. There's a support team ready to back you up over the radio.
Who?
I'll introduce them to you. This time, survival is of utmost importance. The first member of the support team will be in charge of monitoring your physical condition, acting as a medic, so to speak, as well as recording your mission data. She's a member of Fox as well, and she's here on the gunship with me.
She?
What's good? What's good,
Hello,
my guy?
Snake. I'm paramedic. Nice to meet you.
Paramedic.
As in a medic who comes in by parachute.
Aren't you going to tell me your real name?
Are you going to tell me yours, Mr. Snake?
My name, huh? It's John Doe.
And they call you Jack for short. You're a regular Captain Nemo.
A name means nothing on the battlefield. After a week, no one has a name. What's your name?
Jane Doe.
Very funny.
I wasn't joking, but I'll tell you my name only if you manage to make it back alive.
That's hilarious.
My frequency is 145.73.
Why can't I get this thing? to
She's
drink
also
it?
in charge of recording your mission data. Whenever you want to save, send a message over the reserved save frequency, 140.96.
So saving lets me record my mission data.
That's right. It also records the state of your health.
Good to know.
There's one more person I want to introduce you to, Snake.
Huh?
Speaking of snakes, you remember the boss, don't you? A legendary soldier and your
Yo,
mentor.
the show was fucking
Actually, it
great,
was the
bro.
boss that got the DCI's
The
authorization
show
in the
went
first
really
place.
good.
She's going to be
I
serving as
sold a
Fox's
couple of
mission advisor.
little drawings.
Bosses?
She also helped me plan this mission. She and I...
I sold 3 drawings out of the 8 that I took. But it's not, the show's not over yet, so before the end of the month, I might sell something else. And me and one of my art buddies were discussing a trade because he really likes one of the pieces in there. And he has a painting that I really like. So me and him talked about like swapping out some art, maybe. So it was a good time. A lot of new people saw my art in person for the first time. I work in a prison, starting to make like acquaintanceships at the prison with some of the employees there. And actually, one of the prison employees came to the show, which was really cool. And she brought two of her sisters with her, so that was three people right there who I don't think have ever seen my art who got to see it for the first time in a really nice setting, you know. So, and always got tons and tons of compliments and great feedback. And there was this one art teacher from, man, like Wallenpaupack. It's like damn near an hour away, yeah. Like 45-minute drive, an hour away. She brought some of her art students out, and they came to the show. Some high school kids. I thought that was fucking awesome. But yeah, it was a good turnout. There's probably about I'd say throughout the night, probably about 60 people came in there. You know, not all at once, but in and out throughout the night. There's about 60 people that attended. So. Alright. I don't know, some of these tubes are getting kind of feel funny when it's all like loose and everything. So I just tighten some of them up, push all the paint up to the top. But the show was great, bro. You see, you don't do the social media thing. I might have to. Oh no, we still at 80%. Let's see here. I want to see if it. Yeah, it doesn't have the sound. See, man, sometimes if it's too bright, you can't see it. If it's too dim. Yeah, trendsetter. Whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center. Hit it dead center. Bullseye, hit it the most, there's no misses. Something like fish in a barrel, it's no different. Blindfold on me, I still got the most vision. Trendsetter, told them before, but they don't listen. Better, bring a better bad because I'm bigger, better. Solo, single, selling several shows at every single second. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Kinda came and crushed the competition, hope they get the message. Look, living it fast, spinning my M in the bag. I never go slow, thinking I'll crash. End up a thing in the past, they know I won't though. Big fish catching me, they gon' need a bigger boat. Ironic how the world stops when I spin a globe. Always showing up. Right. Last year's song still holding up. See the name now and they know what's up. Right. Price hit the top and it's going up. I'm a trendsetter. Whoa. League of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center. Hit it dead center. Yeah, hey, trendsetter. Whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center. Hit it dead center. B.O.D. Get the spell check, a fact check, and prevent. it turned out pretty good, man. Like I said, a lot of people came out. Even though it was a kind of a drizzly December day, like people still showed out, man. Yeah, like it was weird. Like it says December, so it's kind of cold, and we did get a little bit of rain that day, and even a lot of other people were pissed off because they had like some kind of holiday on a square event, you know, where there was tons of tents and vendors were supposed to be set up right downtown on the square, and it was the weather had people confused, and so somebody said that the event on the square didn't even go off like planned because the vendors shut down because they were afraid that the rain wouldn't bring the people out, or people wouldn't come out because of the rain. And so people didn't come out because they heard the vendors shut down. So people were still going to come out because it didn't rain that hard, and it didn't rain all evening. It kind of rained for like an hour or so and then stopped. But by that time, the vendors were already shut down, so the crowds were not around that evening. So I'm surprised that as many people even came to the show because there wasn't a lot of people out that night. Like I say, it was a weird evening, and most people just stayed the fuck home. Like fuck it. So I'm just happy that as many people came out to chill that first night as they did. Cause I don't know. After my homeboy told me, he was like, "Oh, you know they shut the square down." I'm like, "What?" After they took all day to set up all the fucking tents and all the tables and all that shit, and they shut the square down. He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, ain't nobody gonna come out then if they ain't gonna be doing nothing at the square." Right. Like I say, people did come out. All right. I got stuck on. I don't know. After I watched that video just now, I be getting stuck on Instagram so easy, bro. That shit be stupid. I gotta pull myself away from it. I love Instagram and TikTok. There's something sticky in here, and I don't know what that is. Like really sticky. What the fuck is that? That's kind of weird. All right, let's see if we can get a little bit more paint done. Then I gotta fold up some clothes and meal prep for the week. I might have to run to the grocery store. I might. I hope I don't. Well, I don't know, cause I do want to have a salad this week, or at least a BLT, and I ain't got no fucking lettuce. I hate going to the store for like one little thing though. So I'm gonna have to make a whole list to justify going to get lettuce. Yes, sir. I'll be right here. Alright. Really, should we get back into this shit? I did something so weird. I don't know why I did that already, but oh well. What I want to listen to is 10 AI art styles that'll blow your mind.
Witness to the rule of Nephilim guardians by the Anunnaki. However, with the deluge came a profound shift, the advent of the Age of Adam. This era marked the extraordinary rise of the Sumerians. Today, let's embark on a captivating exploration of this epoch, peeling back the layers of Sumerian history to reveal the mystical realms of kingship, priestly duties, and the divine tapestry intricately woven into the very fabric of Sumerian rule. Adam, Sumerian kingship unveiled. In the post-4000 BC era, known as the Age of Adam, Sumerian kings ascended, their appointments sanctioned by the assembly, under the enduring watch of Anu. The installation of King Shulgi of Ur in 2100 BC exemplifies this, emphasizing the sacred rights of kingship directed by Anu himself. Jacobson T. The Treasures of Darkness. Kingship beyond governancer. Conventional governance. Earthly kingship in Sumer wasn't merely administrative. Kings were designated guardians, tasked with protecting and guiding their people. This hallowed duty encompassed both social and military roles, defining the king as a shepherd with a symbolic staff. The original crook or crozier, later adapted by the Christian Church. Royal regalia and duties, symbols of Anu's wisdom. The kingly regalia, including the shepherd's staff, scepter, and the tiara symbolizing Anu's wisdom, conveyed a multifaceted role. Surprisingly absent was the sword, introduced in later Christian Europe to denote martial command. The early Sumerian kings, known as Luguls, from Lu, man, and Gal, great, i.e. great man, was also a designated priest, Sangha, see Frankfurt, H, kingship and the gods. They were not warriors by default, but supreme protectors, guiding with justice and wisdom. Messianic line and priest kings. From the earliest Sumerian Sangaluguls emerged the tradition of priest kings. The king, also head of the judiciary, shared his temple compound with the queen, formerly titled Lady Nin, residing in the Great House, the Ego. Mandate, Anunnaki will and realm administration. These extended beyond city administration, encompassing representation before the Anunnaki, interpretation of their will and overall realm governance. Priest and Chief Justice. The king held a pivotal role in community projects and public works. Frankfurt, H, kingship and the gods. Adapa, Adam, prototype of earthly kingship. Reveal Adapa, Adam, as the first earthling head of a temple, a Sangalugal, high priest, and a model for earthly kingship. Anunnaki blood coursing through him, Adam, a prototype, marked history as the initial bearer of the royal seed, paving the way for the kingly line. Eve and the Sumerian king list, post-flood resurgence. While the Sumerian king list notes the flood swept thereover, it also heralds the resurgence of kingship in Kish after the deluge, stating, after the flood had swept thereover, when the kingship was lowered from heaven, the kingship was in Kish. Interestingly to note, is that Adam's role was pivotal, yet it played no role establishing a kingly line. It would be Eve who, as part of the process, would contribute to the true Sangreal, the earthly blood royal. As we unravel the mysteries of Sumerian kingship, from divine appointments by the Anunnaki to earthly duties, the echoes of this ancient epoch reverberate. The sacred responsibilities of kings, the intertwining of priestly and kingly roles, and the dawn of a new era after the flood, paint a vivid tapestry of Sumerian sovereignty. Continue with us on this journey through time, where kings were shepherds and realms were guided by the wisdom of Anu, the great father of the sky. To like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment telling us what you think. Till next time. Enigmatic days before the flood, Sumer bore witness to the rule of Nephilim guardians, anointed by the Anunnaki. However, with the deluge came a profound shift, the advent of the Age of Adam. Era marked the extraordinary rise of the Sumerians. Today, let's embark on a captivating exploration of this epoch, peeling back the layers of Sumerian history to reveal the mystical realms of kingship, priestly duties, and the divine tapestry intricately woven into the very fabric of Sumerian rule. The Age of Adam, Sumerian kingship unveiled. 4000 BC era, known as the Age of Adam, Sumer.
Hey folks, today is Friday, December 1st, believe it or not, 2023. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. Now, before we jump into it, let's do what we often do with this show, and give you some goodies. This is a new Unreal Engine 5 tech demo that's been making the rounds with some pretty crazy graphics. This is a real-time forest demonstration. This is all running in updated Unreal Engine 5. This is by MAWI United, or Maui United, and I mean, look at this. I mean, they titled the video "The Most Realistic Forest Ever" in like a video game forest, and I tend to agree with that. It's not really for me the level of detail, like the fauna, of course it is, but it's really the lighting and how that all goes down. And you can check out the full video, of course. It will all be linked in the description down below, as well as everything else I talk about this week. But this is running on an RTX 4090. It is 100% procedurally generated. It's 4 square kilometers. This is photogrammetry scanned assets. That's why you get a lot of the detail in the plants. This is ultra high-res nanite foliage and lumen dynamic lighting and virtual shadow maps that really makes the lighting and how it goes through the leaves and the trees just look so realistic. There's player camera like foliage interaction, so the stuff will move, and there's full dynamic wind. So the developer listed all of this to describe how all this comes together. My question still remains, like it does every time we show off stuff like this. Unreal Engine 5, the tool set that game makers use, it seems like it's making it easier than ever to make really good looking games. So I just wonder when we're going to actually see this level of fidelity in our mainstream regular old video games. Is it a matter of years or decades? I don't know. But I did see that pop off and it was pretty interesting, so we wanted to share it, as well as something from a little bit over a week ago titled Sanctuary. This is from Torkuma Shija on YouTube, and this is less gaming focused, more cinematic focused. This person created the jungles of Thailand in Unreal Engine 5, specifically with a lot of lumen, and it's pretty gorgeous. Of course, the other big bit of news this week, this kind of came last minute Friday morning, but we now know when we're going to actually see the next Grand Theft Auto. I mean, now it's an announcement for an announcement. Rockstar said a trailer was coming in December, and now they've posted, we know, trailer 1 for the next GTA is coming Tuesday, December 5th at 9 a.m. Eastern. So that's New York time. That's my time. So now you know when you're going to hear a little bit from Rockstar officially, like the next Grand Theft Auto. So we'll probably make a reaction video and all stuff like that. So again, not a lot of news with it other than that now you know when you can set your alarm, so to speak. What do we expect? In all honesty, I'm hoping something like the original reveal for Grand Theft Auto 5. A little bit more of something that just sets the stage, sets the scene, the tone, a little bit of the story, and has tons to speculate on. I feel like the game is still a little bit of a ways out, but who knows? They have been working on it for a really long time, so maybe this will be a full-fledged gameplay trailer. I don't know either way. At this point, speculating, it's not really worth it since we are getting this official reveal pretty soon. The next story I wanted to talk about has been making headlines quite a bit. It's Bethesda responding to criticism or negative reviews on Steam of Starfield. In articles and social media, screenshots have circulated of like Bethesda customer support or the Bethesda team responding directly to customer Steam review type things. Not really clapping back or anything like that, but just kind of like explaining some people complaining about loading screens, and then they went into describing why the game has loading screens. It's a little off-putting, I would say. I think a lot of people are kind of miffed by this. I've seen people like really running with this. I don't really think it's like a big deal or anything like that, but it is worthy of a chuckle. I do want to point out though, what this isn't necessarily, in my opinion, damage control or anything like that. It is a tactic that we actually see smaller developers use, more independently published games, smaller publishers, smaller developers live and die by Steam reviews. That's like part of the algorithm, it's part of recognition, it's part of the whole thing. So a lot of the times developers, developer community, tech support type people will respond to negative Steam reviews for their games in the hopes of converting that pissed off customer to a positive customer. Sometimes a lot of developers that I've spoken to think that you can really convert with kindness, and even if somebody spent money on the game and it's not running well, if they get responded directly to by a developer that says, hey, we're working on it, or hey, we're sorry, it goes a long way. So on a bigger scale, with Bethesda doing that approach, it's weird. I don't know if necessarily they should. I don't know. I don't make the rules. It's like, on the one hand, at least they're not thinking they're above it, like they're willing to wade into the pool of reviews. But for many people, not a good look. I don't know. I just feel like there's always a firestorm of controversy around Starfield. But hey, it's an interesting story for sure, and it sparked some interesting conversation. So let me know what you think. This stool is going to break any day now. Do you hear it? It's like, why do I always get the most rickety stools for this show? What are we doing here? But with Starfield and Xbox, speaking of that, jumping on over to some interesting quotes. It seems like at this point, Microsoft wants Xbox Game Pass on everything. According to GameSpot, Xbox CFO Tim Stewart said during like a big rich people investors summit thing that they want to make first-party games and Game Pass available on, and I quote, every screen that can play games. And that also means other consoles and stuff. He said, and I quote, it's a bit of a change of strategy, not announcing anything broadly here, but our mission is to bring our first-party experiences and our subscription services to every screen that can play games. That means smart TVs, that means mobile devices, that means what we would have thought of as competitors in the past, like PlayStation and Nintendo. Also, he said specifically that like Game Pass is a high-margin business for Microsoft, and they just want to get it out there everywhere and generate. So this to me just sounds like from one of the top head corpos, not a Phil Spencer who is a head, but is more of like a, hey man, like this is just from a corpo who, and I'm sorry I'm using that phrase, but like it's just in my lexicon now. A corporate person saying what the company is really going to do, because other executives can say one thing, but when it's higher up like a CFO, which is chief financial officer, their concern is the money, and I guess for right now it is really to make bank on the whole Xbox Game Pass thing. At least that's how I read into this. I know I kind of stumbled through explaining that. I'm not very smart, but yeah. Hey, now switching gears over here real quick to talk about today's sponsor. It's Vessi. Now, if you're new to the channel, you might not know that Vessi has been providing dependable, comfortable footwear to us for years now. We've been recommending them forever. And that is specifically because it's great footwear. They have a bunch of different styles, shapes, colors for every person, every occasion, but also, of course, they are 100% waterproof. Like, yeah, really. But they don't feel like waterproof shoes. They just feel like regular old shoes, but they keep your feet cool in the summer and warm in the winter. They just work. And speaking of the winter, lately I've been rocking the Alta High Top. This is kind of like a hybrid between a bit of a boot and also a high top, my favorite style of sneaker. So they've been crushing it this winter. I mean, it's not winter yet, but it feels like winter, and these are getting the job done. And if you haven't noticed, Vessi has you covered for everything now at this point. For a few years now, they've offered waterproof gloves, which we've been recommending for a while now. I showed them off last time we talked about Vessi. They're waterproof, they're great, and also they offer the Overcast jacket. This is, again, waterproof, but it's cozy on the inside. So again, for like whatever you need to wear, whatever type of weather, Vessi at this point really has you covered. It's a good way to get out there, get adventuring, get a little wet. So if you do want to check them out, and it does support the show, just head to Vessi.com/GameRanks. Again, that's Vessi.com/GameRanks for a hookup, and big thanks to Vessi for sponsoring these videos. Also, in other news, a slight update on The Witcher 4, which is an actual thing. It is codenamed Polaris. At this point, just under 50% of CD Projekt Red has moved on to working on that project. The other team is probably working on cleaning up Cyberpunk stuff. CD Projekt Red did announce that there's another Cyberpunk update coming soon with some tweaks and enhancements. Then also CD Projekt Red has a lot of other projects going on, but the plan is for more people to keep jumping on this Witcher 4 project, and we're probably not going to see it anytime soon. I'm sorry, I don't want to be like the bearer of bad news, but there's a reason right now why all we get are these little tiny updates, and the game still just has a code name. It's because it's a ways off. Still, it is interesting. If you're looking for more insight, I linked it in the description down below. GameSpot put out a really good 30-minute documentary on Cyberpunk 2077 and CD Projekt Red. They basically documented it right before the Phantom Liberty expansion launch, but they really talked to the developers about the fact that after CD Projekt Red launched Cyberpunk 2077, they were like, oh, we messed up. We need to rethink things and like pull ourselves up here. So basically a lot of inside baseball on how the entire company had to reorganize and restructure and change how they make their games. It's a really good watch documentary if you're interested in that stuff, whether you like Cyberpunk or not. It's just an interesting insight into how games are made. So that will be linked in the description down below. I highly recommend that. But yeah, ultimately I am curious to see like whether that philosophy and this newly, so quote unquote, reformed CD Projekt Red is going to be taking that approach for The Witcher 4 and beyond. Who knows? But at the very least now, they have a big pile of money to work on more games and hopefully improve things. Next up, and something I never expected, there's a new Tribes game coming out. Tribes 3 Rivals is an actual thing. This is going to be on PC through Steam and Epic and eventually on consoles. There are playtests taking place soon. There is a gameplay trailer out there. You can see it on screen here. Some of you younger folks might be like, that looks boring. That does not look exciting. Tribes was the shit a long time ago. It was awesome. So the way I'm looking at this, with Half-Life kind of getting a resurgence and the Half-Life multiplayer stuff being revived for the 25th anniversary, I've seen a lot of that online where it's just chaotic deathmatch in small arenas. So we have that, and now we have more Tribes. I'm really hoping for a resurgence of like some old school style stuff. It never really went away. You know, people are still playing Quake and stuff like that, but the more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. Next up, some stuff I have linked in the description down below. The first is a trailer for Batman, the Arkham Trilogy, coming to Nintendo Switch. We now know it's dropping December 1st with that shiny new Pattinson, or Robert Pattinson, the Batman suit that kind of leaked out early a couple weeks back. Boy, does it look good. Also, just speaking of like Arkham, Batman, Rocksteady stuff, if you did get in, it seems like those playtests, those like, you know, private alpha playtests are now going down for Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League if you signed up for those. I don't know if we're going to hear anything come out of that again, but yeah, if you signed up, check your email or something like that. But also linked in the description down below is a bunch of Game Pass stuff that is coming in December, if you guys are interested in that. On this show, we don't usually share every single week and break down stuff coming to PlayStation Plus or Xbox Game Pass, but this was kind of a big, significant drop for some people, so I figured I'd mention it. Also, Capcom showed off a lot more Dragon's Dogma 2. There's a showcase this week with a bunch of gameplay, and it seems like from what we've seen here, that is pretty much everything that Dragon's Dogma fans have wanted. Again, we'll have to judge the final product when we get our hands on it, but still, this is pretty exciting so far. And with Rockstar announcing that the look of Grand Theft Auto is coming soon, if you're looking for something to pass the time until then, we got a new video from GTA 6 O'Clock. Yes, the channel used to be GTA 5 O'Clock, now it's GTA 6 O'Clock, with just some insights and speculation, but they were a channel I watched a lot back in the day for GTA 5, and they're back at it again so many years later, and it's already a great first video, so if you just like listening to stuff like that, I link that in the description down below. Also, Resident Evil 4 VR is launching on PlayStation VR 2 December 8th. We got a new announcement of that. Also, that there is like a free version or like a demo coming the same day. I think I'm going to be playing the hell out of this. I tested Resident Evil Village VR for the PSVR 2, and it was really challenging. But I feel like Resident Evil 4 just lends itself to VR so well. I mean, the Resident Evil 4 VR for the old version was great, so I'm expecting good stuff from this too. Also, believe it or not, Vanity Fair this week had the first look at the Amazon Fallout TV series. Yes, this is a real thing, and it kind of looks like it's the real deal. Again, it could be terrible. I have no idea. But some of the images that have come out look pretty sweet. We see like Brotherhood of Steel, we see airships, we see abandoned buildings, we see vaults, we see Vault-Tec suits. We also see Walton Goggins as a ghoul, which that seems like an incredible choice. I'm going to show up just for that as a movie fan. It looks like they're going for like Fallout aesthetic, but a little bit of like some grungy Western type stuff, maybe channeling a little New Vegas. Apparently this is actually also going to be canon in the Fallout timeline, which is interesting. That's, be careful with that, guys. We'll see how that goes. This series may also, according to reports, reveal the origin behind the Vault Boy symbol. There's a lot here. I hope it's good. I always root for video game things to be good. We don't know for sure, but as of right now, just feast your eyes on these images. And I've linked the Vanity Fair article, just kind of like about the making of it and stuff, down in the description. And I want to know what you guys think, honestly. But that's the show this week. So I want to know what you think about all the video game news. It's a bit of a quiet week, but next week the Avatar game is dropping, the day before is dropping, and the Game Awards are going down. So yeah, hopefully we get some good juice out of that. So let me know what you think in the comments about everything we've talked about, from... what do I have on my list here? Oh yeah, Bethesda and the Starfield review thing, that gorgeous Unreal Engine 5 Forest, a new Tribes game, and of course, most importantly, what are you playing this weekend? It's for our...
On this week's GTA 6 o'clock, when will we see the trailer? What could the next GTA game be called? And just what has happened in the last 10 years? It's all here on this week's GTA 6 o'clock. Hello and welcome to this first episode of GTA 6 o'clock. I am your host, James Jarvis, and I am joined by the original host of GTA 5 o'clock, and the person who predicted a lot of GTA 5's outcomes, Dan Dawkins.
I've been asleep for 11 years. I'm back. It's an absolute thrill. Let's get into this, James.
Yeah, obviously, like we said, lots to cover. We're not going to go over everything in this first episode. This is more of a welcome along. We're going to set the scene, let you know what's going to go on over the next few weeks, months, years, question mark. Bit of housekeeping up top. The intro that you just saw is our new intro and new audio sting. It is all from Vice City, using some official Vice City images. Some of you might know why that is. We'll get into that a bit later, but would like to know what you think about it. Should we keep it? Should we go back to the old one? Please say we can keep it, because it took quite a long time to make.
And I'm excited about it, but I will add, possibly in 2 weeks, we might have new official music to share, which may become the intro. Let's see.
Yes, exactly. We had to make something new, so we have done, but I'm very certain that we'll probably change it once we get some new official images, music, that kind of thing. So that's the intro. Dan, I think now we should jump in. Why are we doing this? Now, why is it a good time for GTA 6 o'clock to return now, today?
Well, quite simply, in the last 11 to 12 years that we've been waiting for a new Grand Theft Auto game, there's been an incredible silence on Rockstar's behalf officially. There's been talk of the next GTA, but finally, Rockstar have pulled the trigger and said there will be a new trailer released in December, which will mark the 25th anniversary of Rockstar Games. Now, we don't have an actual date for that, and it's quite hard to pin. There's not an official Rockstar birthday date in the calendar. We can say it's definitively that day. There are things we can speculate about in terms of when we think that will be, and I'm sure we will right now. But yes, that's why we're here. Very, very shortly, we are about to officially see GTA 6, or whatever it's actually called.
Excellent, yeah, and we will get into when that trailer might come out, what the game might be called, and a few other things a bit later on in this episode. But as you said, Dan, it's been 10 or 11 years since 12 years even maybe since GTA 5. A lot has happened since then. Our first video for GTA 5 O'Clock was on the 13th of November in 2012. And then the last video we posted on this channel was 5 years ago, which was our GTA 6 predictions, which at some stage we may go back and look at and see, once we see the trailer, how many of those things may or may not have been right.
I am terrified to do that, but that will be an interesting experiment in itself. It's also like incredible. Thank you so much to everyone who, it's been over a decade. Thank you to everyone who followed GTA 5 O'Clock once upon a time back in late 2010s, 2012. We had like over 120 million people watch those videos over that time, and I felt like we became one of the default sources for GTA 5 news. And to go back a little further, James and I both work for a large video game facing media company and do have links to Rockstar. We've worked with them officially, but almost all of that show is based off our own research and speculation. And when I say our own research, I've got to tip a ginormous sombrero towards all of the GTA communities, the YouTubers, the research community. What we're doing is piecing together the brilliant work the community does.
Yes, and hopefully adding our own insight into it, which is useful to some of you, and if not useful, entertaining. So, quick summary of the last 10 years. A few things have happened. I thought it would be good to ground this in some things that have occurred in the gaming space in particular, to see how that might impact GTA 6. You might remember we had the 8th generation of consoles released. That was PS4 and Xbox One. That happened. We've also, of course, had the 9th generation, PS5, Xbox Series X, all of that stuff. So yeah, we've gone through 2 generations of consoles. We've had things like Pokemon Go has exploded in the mobile space. During that 10 years time, Naughty Dog was still making Uncharted games. Now, of course, they're making The Last of Us. We've had Dark Souls 3. We've had a Screen Actors strike, which may be familiar to some people because that's just about to end right now, but now we've had another one. So 2016 was the last Screen Actors strike. Games like Breath of the Wild have come out. We've had, obviously, Red Dead was released in 2018. God of War has been rebooted and had a sequel since we've had a GTA game. Some prominent things happened at Rockstar. Like Leslie Benzies, who was the producer and president of Rockstar North, left in January 2016, which we'll probably touch on later, obviously would have had a big impact on the direction of GTA 6. We've had things like Fortnite arrive on the scene, like maybe now one of the world's biggest games. It's made millions and millions of dollars for Epic. I think it was something like, in 2017, it was the first highest grossing game was Fortnite, but actually GTA Online was 3rd. So I don't think we should underestimate the amount of money that GTA Online makes Rockstar.
No, and to the point where I think part of what we'll do over the coming weeks, there's so much to talk about. James is exactly right, and we're only halfway through this. We're talking about the context of the world in which GTA now arrives, and it's changed radically from the situation in 2012. A lot of that is tied to, like James just mentioned, the finances of Rockstar and Take-Two themselves. And as in many walks of life, money is the tail that wags the dog, or whatever it is. And that has changed the trajectory of GTA for sure. And I think we'll do a spin-off episode, or I'd like to do a spin-off episode. Tell me if you think this is a good idea, listeners, about the finances of Take-Two and Rockstar and how that's changed the trajectory of the company. All of this is publicly listed and is utterly fascinating. The figures are boggling. So yeah, there's so much to get into. James, sorry to stop you mid-flow.
No, that's fine. A couple more facts just to lay the land. Xbox now owns everyone. There's been loads of other acquisitions. VR headsets are now a thing. And we've had like loads of, there's been different presidents in the US, most notably Donald Trump, from The Apprentice became the president of the United States. The UK has left the EU. All of these things, in classic GTA and Rockstar fashion, you would think are going to affect or be referenced in GTA 6 in some way.
Yeah, it was interesting. Just a few years ago, the Housers, or Sam Houser, did do an interview and had talked about how difficult it would be for a new GTA to satirise the modern world. And, boy, is that true. We're in such a connected online social media space with so many comments available and so difficult to know what to believe. I feel like, what is GTA's voice in this new world? We'll wait and see. And there's a lot to unpick within that, because another part of this narrative is one of the founding partners of Rockstar, Sam Houser's brother Dan Houser, left Rockstar, and he was the chief writer. And clearly his voice permeated everything GTA did. So what that means for GTA 6, for better or for worse, we don't know. We're going to get into it, maybe not today, but in subsequent episodes. But it's utterly fascinating. And the thing I wanted to stress on the back of what you said, which shows how much has changed in the 10 or 11 years since GTA came out. The amazing thing is, GTA 5 has endured through that entire breadth of history. That's like, I've got, in the time since we did GTA 5 o'clock, I've had 2 children, and one of my children is now no longer 1, he's like a grown-up teenager. It's mind-blowing. But GTA 5 has endured the core template of that game. It was released on PS3. That doesn't seem feasible. I can't even remember what PS3 looks like. I mean, it's that long ago. I can't remember how the game looked on PS3. But at the time, it was mind-blowing. It was like having the scales drop from your eyes. And I do remember seeing it, updated for PS4 and then again for PS5, and the PS5 version particularly, which was kind of a mirror of what was the PC version, which took years to arrive. Technically brilliant, and that has endured through all of this generation, like you say. That game is so robust, so brilliant. The challenge is now, can Rockstar pull the rabbit from the hat again and produce another game that is, on one hand, super culturally relevant, significant, has something to say, on the other, creates a platform that might define a decade of online gaming, and on the other, set a new bar for visual storytelling. I mean, imagine that was your task list. Objectives for this game. It's boggling. It would break great minds that they've set the bar so high. Where do they go from there? And again, that's another set of stories we've got to tell in the next few episodes of GTA 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock.
There's going to be a few 5 and 6 o'clock slip-ups, I feel, especially during this first episode. Okay, so that was a bit of background. Obviously, like Dan says, there's so much other stuff to cover in there that we could do episodes and episodes about. But for now, we want to just set the lay of the land. So we're going to go what we actually know about GTA 6. This is just the facts that have come out officially from Rockstar. We are not currently talking about anything that may or may not have leaked out, which we will get into later. So just the facts were February 2022, Rockstar posted an update saying, and I'm going to paraphrase this, "We love GTA 5. We know you've all been asking about the next entry of the Grand Theft Auto series. With every new project, we want to move the goalposts, and we are pleased to confirm that development for the next entry in the Grand Theft Auto series is well underway." So that was posted in 2022. Then we think GTA 6, or whatever it ends up being called, was hinted at for a release between April 2024 and March 2025, which was based on Take-Two Interactive projections, launching several groundbreaking titles to achieve over $8 billion in net bookings during that period.
Yeah, and I just want to jump in on that one, because that is really the killer clue. As I say, always follow the money. What Take-Two's financials were essentially projecting is they would move from earning $5 billion in a year to $8 billion in a year, which is a not insignificant leap in revenue. Where does that come from? Well, it either comes from multiple releases all earning millions/billions, or a Leviathan project. Let's be clear, if you join the dots, it's very likely to be GTA, and then that would, games do slip, you don't know, but that would say that in Take-Two's mind, Rockstar's parent company, the game is coming out in the next financial year, so that could be sometime in 2024. It could be as late as early 2025 when their financial year ends, but that is the projected window.
So moving on from there, and as we mentioned at the top, in September of 2022, we had the major leak, one of the biggest in gaming's history, which was footage from the unfinished build of GTA 6 leaked onto the internet. And we say footage, a lot of footage. And there's a lot of stuff, there was a lot of stuff in it that you could look at that gave you hints to gameplay, to characters, all of that stuff. We're not going to go too in-depth on that in this episode, but we will obviously mention it because we would be fools to ignore that that happened.
Yeah, and I remember the day that broke, and I think your first thought is always, are we being spoofed or pranked, or is this BS? I think it was clear pretty immediately, if it was a spoof, it was the most elaborate spoof in the history of the internet, and immaculately realised it. And it was pretty clear immediately. It was such an overwhelming volume of videos that corroborated all of the micro leaks we'd heard over the years that it had to be true. I don't think you have to work very hard to find that information on the internet. We're not going to dig into all of that here because it would honestly be a 20-hour podcast. But we will be revisiting, I think, things that might have come out of the leaks when we officially know what's in GTA, the next GTA, which we assume is GTA 6. And that will make for a really interesting bit of cross-comparison and narrative.
One question I did have about those leaks for you, Dan, is do you think that that incident dramatically changed the comms around GTA 6? Because even for the sake of this show, it's now less of a mystery for us. You know, like normally in the lead up to a GTA announcement, we'd be talking about what's the setting, who are the characters, what could they kind of be covering. But if you do or did see any of that documentation around it, some of that stuff is out there now, which makes it a bit less of a, you know, a magical mystery tour.
I think that's the question. And whilst in the fullness of time it will be forgotten, I think it's a crushing blow to the very essence of what GTA stands for and what it is. GTA as a game, it's one of the few games that is not on annualized or biannualized development cycles. New GTAs are events, they're cultural events, they're technical events. They mean something to the wider pantheon of gaming. Part of that mystery is where is it going to be, what is it about, and I guess the completely black box nature of Rockstar, where they don't say anything until it's time to say something. Rockstar have come from a background as a company. They started as a music company. And they were the music company who understood that games could be a cultural force. And I think what they understood is that the marketing of games and the power of it to, a bit like old Hollywood, where you wouldn't spend ages describing how things were made, the stars and the product would speak for itself. So when GTA 5's launch trailer was revealed, there was absolute fever pitch about the location, the setting, how they were going to move things on. I remember recording this in the GTA 5 o'clock episodes. We were absolutely buzzing for it. And then I think Rockstar were able to, it's amazing, they could silence it and there were no leaks. So when it dropped, it was genuinely a wow moment. And I think those first bars of that GTA 5 reveal trailer, you know, it's all about that thing, that magic. And why did I move here? I guess it was the weather. It's all about that thing, the magic. That to me, those sentences are the heart of what GTA is. And it's about that thing. It's about the magic. It's what old Hollywood represents. It's about sunsets. It's about old Hollywood glamour. And I think they've lost that now. Unfortunately, you haven't got to search very hard to basically see where the next GTA is set, to basically understand what the key setting is. So the challenge for them now is when they officially reveal the game, is how do you recontextualize that without the element of surprise and put something out there that potentially resets the bar of what video gaming can be. It's a massive challenge. It's a massive challenge. And further to add, the footage that leaked, and this is typical of all video games, obviously looked a bit rough and ready. Because video games look rough and ready, sometimes up until days before release. So, wow. You know, good luck Rockstar. Like we said before, this is a big challenge. But I guess the new thrill is that. How are they going to pivot and recalibrate the messaging? The other part of that is like you talked about, if we think the game is coming out in between 2024 and early 2025, that's a very small release window. So from official first trailer to launch could be 12 months, where previously, like I think when James told me this, I had to do a double take. We did almost a year of GTA 5 O'Clock based on one trailer. And now it seems like we're going to have, I assume, much more frequent updates. So, wow, the stakes are high.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely assume that, or we could say, in typical Rockstar fashion, given the history, that date might be an anticipated date. Will they hit it or not? Who knows? But as we saw from that incident where everything leaked out, the game is, it's definitely not miles and miles away. There's things in there that are working. There's, animations. There's all of that kind of stuff. It could be their shortest cycle from announcement to release ever.
Yeah, if the game is fundamentally design complete, and it's often with games that's the game's I'm not a developer, so excuse me every developer listening who wants to laugh at my embarrassing grasp of development. But the bed of the game is there, clearly. The design, the missions, the structure, the characters, the plot, all the sorts of items of the game are there. Graphics polish is the thing that comes last. So it could be they can turn this around really quick.
Yeah, and that build would have been old by the time, that it came out and that people were sharing it. But yeah, lots more to discuss on that. One final point that we definitely know is that the trailer will be released in December, like you said, to coincide with Rockstar's 25th anniversary. Those are all of the things, or the only things, that are actually real, set in stone facts. The other things are things that we could briefly touch on now, but definitely need further diving into, is things that we and everyone on the internet thinks that they know about the game so far, which we will, as I said, go into in the next months, weeks, years after we've seen the official trailer.
Yeah, and I don't think it's crazy for us to say out loud what the top line is it?
I mean, well, let's see. And then if there isn't an episode 2, we know that it was a crazy thing to say. But no, I mean, yeah, it seems to be common knowledge now amongst the GTA communities, at least, that there are going to be at least 2 main characters called Lucia and Jason. They look like they're in a relationship and have been touted as a sort of Bonnie and Clyde relationship. Now, what do you make of that analysis, Dan? When people say, oh, they're like Bonnie and Clyde, what do you think that could mean?
Well, the Bonnie and Clyde reference is interesting because that was taken directly from a report by Jason Schreier of Bloomberg, who is probably one of the best connected games journalists in the world. When Jason Schreier reports a leak, it's usually impeccably sourced, and he had reported that the game would have Bonnie and Clyde style lead characters, and that was before the leak. So everything lines up, you've got to say. Now, there's a very, 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 very slight chance that somehow they pivot and change it, or that was early, and I just don't see it that way.
No.
I can say that out loud, but I don't believe it. I think the direction is set.
Yes. I mean, I think what I was thinking of is I think that was an easy reference point for people to immediately understand what kind of relationship those 2 characters might have. What it probably isn't reflective of is anything that's going to happen in the game, anything that will happen at the end game. If you've seen that movie, it doesn't end that well for those characters. But I don't think it was a reference to things that would happen. It's just an easy thing to go, these 2 are friends, they know each other, they're going to do some crimes.
I think that was exactly it. And this is where people have taken the language that Jason Schreier used as a shorthand for an adventure that features a partnership, as it will literally be a Bonnie and Clyde tale. What it means is more the protagonist could be seen to be like Bonnie and Clyde. That in no way means that story develops or ends that way. I would not go down that path at all. It's just shorthand because we all think in shorthand in terms of things we've seen for the types of characters they are. The actual plot, their motivations, where the story goes, so on and so forth, it's all up for grabs, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the people that they are going to be played or voiced by was heavily thought to be some people at one stage, but now I'm pretty sure we don't know. There isn't a firm grasp of who those people are going to be. At one stage, I think Jason they thought it was Cody Bellinger, who's a pro MLB player. voice actor at night. I think that's been debunked now, and I would have said yes. Like, there's no way. Like, it's got other things going on. It's not really in Rockstar style to pick someone, a pro MLB player. You maybe would go, oh, that's interesting that they picked him, but their whole MO is picking unknown but very good, you know, not quite unknown, but like very good people who are on the fringes and then like elevating into like superstardom.
Yeah, this again could be an episode in itself, because there's so much to say about voice actors, cast, and the way these decisions have evolved within Rockstar. What I would say very broadly is, when they did GTA Vice City, Rockstar were clearly on an accelerating path of growth and popularity and financial success, where they could bring in bona fide Hollywood talent. So they worked with characters such as Ray Liotta, you know, lead character in GTA Vice City.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you don't need to search very hard on the internet to understand that that process has pros and cons. And I would say, as a very broad observation, working with Hollywood talent is expensive. They've probably got much higher demands, and they're probably much less flexible. And I would say that for a game like GTA, particularly GTA 5, where you're recording thousands, possibly tens of thousands of lines of dialogue, you do not want an expensive Hollywood actor in the studio for that length of time, because his burn rate per minute is extortionate, and then your ability to use him to promote your game is minimal. So Rockstar clearly, after GTA Vice City, moved away from that. GTA 4, you know, Nico Bellic was the lead character, wasn't a famous actor. GTA 5, not truly famous actors. You know, they've become more famous off the back of it, but I would only expect the path to continue of Rockstar working with good quality, but not household name talent. I do think we might see cameos from more famous people, but that's a different story entirely.
Yeah, like, you know, GTA 5 had Cara Delevingne do a whole radio show. You know, that was a good celebrity-led tie-up. I mean, I will say that obviously games have changed in the last 10 years, like we mentioned. You know, we're getting, you know, Keanu Reeves is in Cyberpunk, Idris Elba is in Cyberpunk. CD Projekt have obviously gone down that route of, if we get big Hollywood people, then, you know, we might sell a few more games. So there's, I think, definitely chance for cameos within it. Maybe not lead characters, but you can see Rockstar looking at that going, oh, that did seem to work quite well. You know, that moment of Keanu Reeves on the Xbox stage at E3 is going, you know, is the thing that everyone's like, yeah, we're not going to get these moments anymore now. E3 is cancelled.
Yeah.
Not that Rockstar would ever be at E3, but it's that kind of presence of people going, oh wow, how did that happen?
Yeah, that's an amazing type, because Keanu Reeves is one of those few actors that everyone basically loves. And he's a perfect fit because of his career for that game. I don't know what the equivalent would be for GTA 5. The thing I wanted to sidebar on was, as you talked about when you were just describing all the things that have happened in the last 10 years, one of those has been the actors' strike. The underpin of that is the rise of AI and its ability to potentially do storytelling, and particularly how it affects voice actors. Without peeling back the curtain too far, like James and I are also involved with other things such as the Golden Joystick Awards and other events, and we do speak to people who are involved with acting, and the role of AI is clearly on a lot of people's minds. Now, Take-Two's CEO Strauss Zelnick was asked about what role could AI play in future games within their portfolio, and he sort of danced around the question, but quite clearly it was discussed as something that could be used for NPC interactions in a game like GTA. And like, I'm a bit torn on this, because on one hand, I think there should be these roles and they should be available for new actors. On the other, you can see the attraction for a developer. Rather than recording 9,000 individual lines for the guy who stands on the street corner, you just have a kind of intelligence that creates answers that are plausible based on context. Because one of the biggest game breakers in open world games is when you get off script and you run into a guy and he goes, "Watch out, buddy." And it spawned legions of memes. Like my teenager, he does the NPC walk and he makes jokes about NPC lines of dialogue. But the joke might be, what if NPCs get their own smarts?
Yeah.
And they're calling you out and they can say, "Oh, nice trainers, where'd you get them?" Or, all this level of observation, that is transformational for video games, but there's loads of other factors that, to discuss within it.
Yeah. We will get into that, definitely.
I was abducted by the RDA. Now that I'm free, I'll fight for Pandora.
Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, available December 7th.
PlayStation.
A couple more of the top line suggestions for what GTA 6 might be is a return to Vice City. That seems like it's probably in the same category as the two main characters, he would say. Like, I don't see really a world now where it isn't in Vice City. However, the first Vice City game was set in the 1980s, so if it does return to Vice City, this is going to be the first modern day HD redefined Vice City that we see. Think the suggestion, well, if you take GTA 5 as an example, that was set pretty much in the year that it was released, 2013. So if we're basing on that, you'd say, well, this is going to be a modern day, maybe 2020s Vice City setting.
Yeah.
What does that mean for everything? Who knows? What I would like to throw a question out on is it going to be a Rockstar connected universe? We've seen those things start happening with the latest Alan Wake game. You know, all of Remedy's games are now connected into this one universe. And if it is in Rockstar's connected universe, so it's, you know, 5 and that world exists within 6, will we see returning characters? What does it mean for GTA Online? Do you think that we might see some cameos from the likes of Michael, Franklin, Trevor, who I will say, you know, if it's 10 years on, Michael's going to be almost 60, and Trevor.
Yeah.
Franklin should be about 35. So out of all of them, if anyone's going to move around, maybe Franklin.
Yeah, and that we're, you know, obviously deep into the realms of speculation. But what I do think is a brilliant question is there a Rockstar connected universe? And then what role does GTA 6 play in setting up GTA Online, or will they be utterly indistinguishable? Because the thing was, at the time, GTA 5 was very much pitched as a single player classic GTA experience that would have this component set in its will called GTA Online. And GTA Online launched, as I remember, quite a number of weeks, if not months, after GTA itself, and was initially beset with, as you'd imagine, various technical problems, and over time became arguably the most successful online platform in history. So it would be naive to think that that isn't core to their planning, and that it might be that where GTA's story begins and GTA's online world ends is utterly connected. We don't know, and I think that's maybe one of the big mysteries that's about to be unravelled, but be under no doubt that multiplayer and GTA Online is absolutely the future. Just a little tidbit on that. I see a bit of reporting in the last few days that people were saying that their Rockstar Social Club accounts were being changed, and it looks like Rockstar might be changing the naming of Rockstar Social Club, which again might be laying out the path for a new type of online community around GTA. Let's just wait to see what happens. But yeah, I'm fascinated by it, and I think part of it might be, and this has been another rumour, that in the 11 years that Rockstar have been planning the next GTA, at one stage it seemed like there was talk of a Project Americas game. I don't know how verified that was, but of a game that was multiple locations, and you can imagine a world where it's Liberty City, San Andreas, Vice City, every location a GTA's ever been, all in one world. That's a seductive proposition. The reality of developing a game like that is a nightmare. So it does sound a bit like they've scaled back to one city, possibly, and then the scope to bring in the other cities later on, particularly in a very online connected universe, is high. So you could imagine maybe 6 months, a year, 5 years from now, it's the next GTA, but this time we're back in San Andreas.
Yeah, I mean, I just had massive flashbacks to 8 years ago when we were probably having the same conversations about wouldn't that be exciting? We know when you went up to see the team up there that was one of the things they were thinking about was how do we make this a GTA world? How do we make multiple cities that people can interact with? And online is, especially now, like the way to do that.
Yeah, I think because Leslie Benzies said to us when they revealed GTA Online, his ambitions were to create essentially a GTA world where all of those things were connected. Now, clearly, Leslie Benzies left in slightly acrimonious circumstances, but like the idea of what GTA Online could be clearly remained within Rockstar. Like he might have left, but the idea would have remained, and I guess people would have wrestled with whether they wanted to re-engage with that. So, wow, let's see. But that feels like the logical path. until you start developing for a next-gen console and see the asset requirements and think, oh my god.
Yeah.
And so, the flip, and we've talked about this on previous shows, the flip might be you make a slightly more compact world, but ultra detailed. And maybe it is a world where the NPCs have more to say, buildings have more routes to explore. It's just a much richer universe. That's, again, part of the excitement of the unveiling.
Yes, and lots to cover there as well. I know this is only episode 1, and we're already running quite long, so there's a couple more things that I want to talk about before we sign off and give everyone the chance to put your comments and questions below that you might want us to cover in the next few weeks. So I'm going to go through these reasonably quickly. The name of the game. Now, will it be called GTA 6? Rockstar have never confirmed it being called GTA 6, only ever referring to it as the next entry in the GTA Universal series. But the caveat to that is we have been here before with GTA 5. They never officially called GTA 5, always just saying it's the next GTA game. And everyone started saying, oh, it's going to be GTA Vice City because it was a V. And now we've got GTA VI. They're basically already spelling it out for us. But what other options are there? Do you think GTA 6 is a surefire win?
If I was placing money, I would ever so slightly tip in favour of GTA 6, largely because of the brand recognition, and it means more to a very large mainstream audience. It's a continuation of the legacy. It makes perfect sense. And in a world where Final Fantasy XIV is on its billionth variant, maybe the audience can handle it. I'm sure they will have within the company had the question or the debate about, do we just call it, for example, Grand Theft Auto? And it's a reboot of the universe. Is it Grand Theft Auto World? Is it, whatever they think the reset for the new platform on the online world might be, probably would have been a conversation. But if I was betting, I would say it's GTA 6. What's your feeling with it?
Well, if we're betting and you're going to take that bet, then I'm going to wager some money, not all of it, some, on it being a straight up just Grand Theft Auto. No numbers, a reboot, essentially, of the series. You've seen it happen with, like, Call of Duty, with things like dropping numbers and just going back to being like, oh, we know that it's actually, the 4th or 5th entry, but we're just going to reset and call it this. And I think for something that is going to be so different, and like you say, it's going to last for such a long time, we think, calling it GTA makes a lot of sense, to have like a hub where basically you access all of the GTA content you want. You can jump into 6, you can jump into online. Maybe it's like a launcher where you can also access the previous games. So you just fire up your GTA hub like you do with Call of Duty, and you can jump into Warzone, or you can jump into Black Ops 3 or whatever you want to do. Like, it would make sense to me that they have that was one of the options, right? I think those are the two prominent ones. I think it will either be 6 with a nice themed badge like 5 was, or it will be just a GTA with nothing.
You saying that has got my mind spinning again to a Leslie Benzies conversation, which again, I must add, he left the company quite a long time ago and plans might have changed and his hopes for technology may not have come to fruition. Something they talked about even back then was, why should GTA be tied to the idea of a console platform? And be that PS3, PS4, PS5 or Xbox. And there's always been this conversation about, is it exclusive on this? Is it this? Forget that. What if GTA on its own was a platform that lived, on the cloud or in a server? It just so happens to be on consoles as well, but it's big enough and culturally relevant enough that it's just its own universe. It's that kind of Fortnite model in Excelsis potentially, and I think that could be where they're thinking. It's huge enough potentially. Let's see.
What's up? Hey, man. Ever since we bought our used truck at Car Bravo, I'm really feeling the used-phoria.
Used-phoria?
Yeah, it's the feeling you get when you buy a used car backed with certified service techs and a nationwide network of service centers.
Is that what all this is about?
Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah.
Car Bravo. Feel the used-phoria.
Okay, so we will probably talk more about the name in what we think might be a couple of weeks, which leads me nicely on to the trailer release date. Speculation. Obviously, at this stage, all of this is speculation. So when do we think? We know it's going to be in December to coincide with their 25th anniversary. But again, if you were going to bet, do you have a date in mind? I can go through where we were with the previous trailers. Like GTA 5 was announced October 25th. That was a Tuesday. That was only the announcement. The trailer followed 1 week later on the 2nd of November, a Wednesday. Vice City trailer was the 28th of August. The Vice City 10th anniversary trailer was the November 29th, a Thursday. I will say most of the trailers have come out on a Tuesday or a Thursday, if that's going to give you any help of what you want to take a gamble on.
Well, if I was to piece those clues together, this is deeply speculative, of course, but if I was wagering on a date, like, we've discussed this a lot amongst ourselves, because obviously we're not 100% sure. I think you can rule out the end of December, because let's face it, that's the festive season for so many people, and it's not a great period to be making large proclamations and so on and so forth. So I would look to pin this trailer for what I would say is certainly the first 2 weeks or the first half of December. Then I think you'd be naive to ignore the most cultural or the biggest cultural event or games event within that period is the Games Award on December the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Rockstar traditionally, I think, wouldn't have looked to use that to announce a game. I think they see themselves as bigger than any other partner or anyone else they could work with. Rockstar, they do their own thing. So it's not beyond the realms they could reveal at the Game Awards. But traditionally, Rockstar would have shied away from doing such a thing because they just like to carve out their own path. Now, if that was the case, and we were saying Tuesday or Thursday, and I do agree, I think Monday generally, like we do events and press communications, we tend to avoid Mondays because truthfully, people in the media are getting up and running in their weeks and aren't really fully in flow, where midweek feels like a better time to do it. So let's say it could be Tuesday the 4th or Thursday the 7th, which is literally the Game Awards. And if it was to miss that, the next Tuesday around would be the 12th. And I said the 4th, it should be Tuesday the 5th. I'm reading my calendar wrong. So Tuesday the 5th or the 12th. I think by that week, that second week, I think we'd have seen the trailer if I was to put any money to it.
Okay. I mean, it'd be very handy if it was a Tuesday because obviously this show is 6 o'clock on a Wednesday. So that would tie in very nicely with us. If you're listening, Rockstar, that would be great.
That would be helpful for us, which is your key priority right now. So thank you.
Having said all that, I would like to throw in, I agree with you, I just can't see it being shown at the Game Awards. Like, there might be something there from it, but I can't see them doing the full reveal there during that show because, like you say, they want their own moment. Why would you try and compete with 5, 6, 7 other big, you'd think AAA announcements that are coming? You know, you might get another look at Death Stranding 2, you might get some Elden Ring DLC, like there'll be a lot of noise around other things, and it's just, you would think, not what they would want to do and haven't traditionally done in the past. So what I think is I would agree with you to say that it's Tuesday the 12th is like a good date, but if it was going to be before the Game Awards, against everything I've just said, I might say that they would go for Wednesday, December the 6th, only because the Grand Theft Auto Vice City 10th Anniversary Edition launched on that very day in 2012. And wouldn't it be lovely to go, hey, we're going back to the city and we're releasing a trailer on exactly the same day 11 years later. And it avoids the Game Awards. It gets it out of the way so no one is tuning in and then is equally disappointed when it doesn't show up. There's a lot of factors there that I think if you were going to do it, doing it a day before makes some sense. Obviously, you can argue it the other way as well to go, it makes no sense and you're going to get lost. But it's a big enough moment for everyone to drop what they're doing and cover it anyway. Why not do it to coincide with one of your anniversaries?
Yeah, and the world stops when that trailer drops, right? I mean, it's as simple as that. And I think if you're Jeff Keighley planning the Game Awards, there's nothing you won't say to Rockstar to try and convince them to drop your trailer with you. But it's possible that they might reach some kind of compromise path where Rockstar go, look, we're dropping it on the Tuesday or Wednesday. Let's work to have some presence within your show, but we want to have the spotlight for our reveal. I can't imagine. I think it works both ways as well, because if GTA 6 gets announced at the Game Awards, actually maybe that's a problem for Jeff Keighley, because then the Game Awards becomes about GTA 6, not anything else that happens at the show. So maybe for both partners it does make sense to separate them. I don't know. I think, like, let's say you're someone who's about to win a lot of awards at the Game Awards, but the story becomes GTA 6 trailer. That might be a little bit annoying for people like, for example, who are in the Baldur's Gate team or the Alan Wake team, or all those sorts of games. I think you might be a touch peeved if you were overlap.
Yes. One final point on that is what could potentially happen is they have, like you say, worked with Jeff Keighley to say, you get to say that the trailer is coming on this date, but that's all you get to say. You know, you can have the Rockstar logo on the stage, and you can say, hey guys, the announcement is you get to see it December 12th, and then they just move on. Like something like that, or like you say, if it's already come out, an extended extra look or an interview with someone from the team, like something like that feels possible. I don't think that they'll drop the entire trailer with no other presence around it in that show. But let's see. Hey, it's only a couple of weeks, and then one of us will be winning a small amount of virtual money.
Don't you just love the holiday season? It's the best. The lights, the snow, the new holiday combos at Applebee's. The what? The fact that holiday combo plates start at just $13.99. Ah, I love the holidays.
Available for dine-in, to-go, and delivery, only for a limited time, only at Applebee's.
There's a couple of other things that we could go over about the release date, when we think that will happen. I think we already touched on that at the beginning. It is a whole other episode in itself, as is possibly going back to Vice City and what the trailer will actually look like when it drops. I think if you look at the previous trailers that Rockstar released over the last 10 years, you can pretty much gain a good understanding of what it's going to look like. Their last major trailers, the first of GTA 5, Red Dead 2, they were all just over a minute in length, both of the first trailers for those two games, and pretty much contained environment shots, hints of activities that you could do in GTA 5 and Red Dead 2, a bit of hints about the kind of gameplay you'd be doing, like the Red Dead one had campfires in it, the GTA 5 one had a few locations and like someone playing golf, someone doing yoga, all those things that when it came to pass, you're like, oh, yes, that is things that I've been doing in that game. They both had pretty much music-led with very minimal voiceover. Like the GTA 5 trailer 1 had Michael's VO in it, the Red Dead trailer had one line of VO, it's mostly music. Now what they're going to do for 6, I would imagine it'd be similar. It's a lot of beautiful environments, hints at what the city's going to do, hints at the kind of places that you'll be going to, the activities you'll be doing, and a very small introduction to one, maybe both characters. Or it could be, you know, a duality thing, 30 seconds from one side, 30 seconds from the other. I think it's going to be that kind of thing. I don't think we're going to get a 3 to 4 minute story-focused trailer. I think it will be a tease. And I'm also going to throw in, I don't think it will have a release date on it.
Yeah, that might be the safest thing for them to do. I think all of those things are true. Traditionally, the reveal is the location and the ambience. Obviously, that cat's possibly slightly out of the bag, so maybe that changes their thinking. But I still think there's enough drama and excitement in the framing of that moment. It's what Rockstar do so well, is set mood and ambience. So, like, please just give me some of that. Give me some soundtrack. Give me it's the vibe, isn't it? Give me the vibe. You know, a lot of GTA is about feel, so please get that right.
Yeah, and it will be, we'll get into this in future episodes. It's going to be interesting if we do go back to that city, what that city now looks and feels like, given that it was so focused on the 80s and the music and the vibes that were going on at that time, to then try and move out of that from the, you know, the neon and the lovely synth pop and all of that kind of stuff into what is now probably going to be gritty, you know, quite a dark time, you would think. It's going to be interesting to see how they manage that. But that is all a thing for another episode. I think we're going to call it there for episode 1. I want to say thank you, like down at the beginning, everyone who has liked the recent Twitter posts, everyone who's been commenting on YouTube, everyone who stuck around for so long to see this series come back. Like, thank you so much. It means a lot. It's made me very happy reading your comments saying, oh, I can't believe I used to listen to this when I got home from school, and now I'm 25. It made me feel really old. But it was really nice to see some of you back. Every week, what we're going to do at the end of these episodes is give a special shout out to our first, our 50th, and a random commenter from the YouTube video. So if you want to get a shout out in next week's video, comment below, like the video, and we could be mentioning your name on this very show. The people that are going to get a shout out this week, first commenter, Cobblers, good name, well done. The 50th person to comment on the announcement of our coming soon trailer was Awesome Mark 1234 100. Thank you very much. And a random shout out just picked out from the comments, Toxic Timmy, another great username there. So everyone who was commenting, those 3 people, a special thank you. Dan didn't know that that bit was in the script, but we're going to do it now. Hopefully we get over 50 comments on every episode. But thank you again. Dan, do you want to say goodbye?
No, I'll just have to come up with my Toxic Timmy 3 handle in case we don't get enough comments. So that's really good. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's supported us all the way through the years and through this essentially decade of silence, you know, from the show almost. What I want to say about the future of GTA 6 o'clock is that, you know, we will be here every week at 6 p.m. GMT to deliver, you know, the latest news, analysis, joining the dots on what's happening in the world of the next GTA. The show, I think, has always done a great job of mixing up the deep detail with the bigger picture, and that's how we plan to continue. So on one hand, yes, we'll be analysing things in excruciating detail, but on the other, I think trying to join it up to the big picture, to the wider world of gaming, literally to the wider world. And I think that's what we will continue to do over the coming weeks, months, and who knows what, years.
Brilliant. There you go. Great summary. Thank you very much for listening, everybody, and we will see you next week at 6 o'clock on Wednesday for another episode of GTA 6 o'clock.
The new wave in insurance advertising is mascots.
You dig? We believe great insurance speaks for itself.
For over 100 years, we focused on one thing and one thing only.
Of course.
Our customers' claims.
fellas, for a calm before the storm week, we still got a ton of gaming news to go over. I got the latest update on the Game Awards and potential reveals, a new Horizon game, Ubisoft leaks, Cyberpunk and Witcher 4 news. But let's start with the big one. You've likely heard it already, but we're getting the first trailer for GTA 6 on Tuesday, December 5th. So 9 a.m. Eastern Time, which would be 6 a.m. Pacific Time. Good luck with that. 2 p.m. in the UK and 3 p.m. Central European Time. This is what I predicted, by the way, in my previous video, so fun to see. Now, I tweeted this out as well, but it's good to set your expectations right, because the first GTA 5 trailer was only 1 minute and 24 seconds, and the first Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer was only 1 minute and 8 seconds. So Rockstar follows the same trend, then it will be less than 1 minute. I don't think that will happen, but it's good to keep in mind that it will likely be a very short trailer and focused on the world mostly, which is of course Vice City again. There should be 2 playable characters this time, inspired by Bonnie and Clyde, the first playable female character as well. Maybe she will already narrate the trailer, I can see that happen. It will mostly just be interesting to see if they can really wow us with the graphics of this game, because every time a new GTA trailer drops for the first time, you're like, oh my god, this looks insane. Curious if we will have the same reaction after this GTA 6 trailer. So yeah, expect coverage here on the channel. We will stream our reaction of the trailer as well, so subscribe and let me know your hype level in the comments. I really can't wait. We also got some Ubisoft leaks, namely an Xbox Store listing appeared for the Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition. Mauro NL also shared some screenshots on Twitter. I think they look pretty decent. Embark on this epic adventure in up to 4K 60 FPS with improved graphics, controls and audio, along with brand new autosave and cross-save features. That was the text on the Xbox Store page, but that has now been removed, like the whole listing, and cross-save of course means that this will launch on multiple platforms, and some people who were quick could play an early version of this edition already. Ubisoft now confirmed the existence on Twitter as we celebrate the 20th anniversary of Beyond Good and Evil. We are excited to share the official launch is set for early 2024, and we look forward to sharing more with you in the new year. And of course the best way to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Beyond Good and Evil would be to give a long overdue update on the sequel. I totally think they will do something, but also temper your expectations, because in February 2022 we learned that the game is still in...
Alright, I think I got to a good little stopping point. We got a good bit done, so the background is blocked in. Started blocking in his face. Can't even finish cleaning up right now. I gotta take a piss real quick. So I think that's it. Well, I want to put the iPad on the charger. Damn. Well, I guess that's it. Alright. Gonna finish doing a little bit of chores. Let's see, I might run an errand, but trying to think. Yeah, I don't really got too much else to do today. Alright, I'll get with y'all next time. Peace.